All right, Chicago Hockey Radio Emergency Podcast. Justin Lynch, Lee Grossman, Tassos Kirkos, and Raven Gasser. Luke Richardson is fired, and Anders Sorensen is the coach of the Blackhawks.
Oh, I thought we were here for prospect talk.
No?
Let's go, boys. Let's go. This is so funny. The gym bro, Luke Richardson, was fired while I was at the gym. You could not script this stuff. It could not be more poetic. It's funny. I didn't see this coming. I don't know about you guys. Tassos, you brought this up in the post-game show last night. Like you mentioned, how hot is Richardson's seat right now? I didn't think it was hot. I said I think it should be hot, but I said I don't think it really is because I think that KD likes him. Well, clearly not as much as I thought, because here we are, breaking news. Luke Richardson has been fired, and Sorensen, head coach of your Rockford Ice Hogs, is now your Blackhawks coach. Yeah, we'll see where we go from here, but what a wonderful day, in my opinion.
I didn't think his seat was this hot.
Dude,
yeah, me neither.
I thought I had the conversation today at work, just like a couple hours ago, about Luke Richardson, and I was like, I don't think his style fits this roster very well, and I don't think it's going to fit the type of players we've been drafting going forward, which I've said on the podcast before. But I thought he was KD's guy. I thought we haven't heard a peep about this. I thought he was KD's guy, and they were just going to be in it for the long haul. So to see this now, it's like, I've been seeing a lot of people talk on social media like, oh, the roster was horrible, blah, blah, blah. Yes, the roster was bad, but something we all agreed on at the start of the season was that this roster was better than last year's.
Yeah.
And we're not doing any better than we were. The whole point of this season, really the main goal, was to take a step forward, but more so have Connor Bedard and our young players take a big step forward, and they haven't. So he failed in that. And so I'm going to say that I personally do feel as though the firing was justified.
I think I agree with this team. We know it's not a good team, but last place, really, we're not really making that progress, that improvement that you'd expect to see out of this team compared to last year. I mean, yeah, there have been games that have been close, but we haven't been coming away with them. This defensive style of play, this stop and chase system hasn't been working. So I really hope that Sorensen, and based off of what I've been seeing with the Ice Hogs, I do think it's going to be a much different system. I do think it's going to be more offense. I do wonder if this is going to affect the actual roster at all. Like, with the Ice Hogs coach now being here, like, is there a better chance of some young guns being called up, like Frank Nazar? I do wonder about that, but I do think he's going to have more of an offensive system, which I think will benefit this team for sure.
I said it to Lee before we started, and I'll say it again now that we're live. Just surprised that this came before a roster move. Like, it feels like normally GMs give their coach something. He gave him nothing the whole year. Absolutely nothing. This whole year, it was like, this is the roster you're working with, and that's it. Landon Sigurd is in the minors. Frank Nazar is in the minors. Kevin Korchinski's in the minors. But you have Alex Vlasic, TJ Brody. Vlasic's been good. Alec Martinez, who's bad. He's had some good nights, but he's been bad. Pat Maroon, some of these guys, man, that and it's just he didn't give him anything. Kyle didn't give him anything. So yeah. I'm trying to find out when we're gonna give. I'm trying to find out. I know we're in initial reaction stage of the pod right now, but I'm trying to just see, like, when is Kyle gonna speak to the media? Probably tomorrow, I would assume, and formally introduce Anders and
it wasn't like
take questions. It was only, but
there was one quote that he said that, like, he thanked.
But that was a team statement, though. Like, that was public.
I was gonna say, like, he quoted like 2-3 weeks ago, like, he was asked this question, like, where is Luke Richardson right now in terms of would you consider firing him? And he was like, no, like, he was happy with Richardson. He was happy with the way the team was playing. Even the Every Shift episode you watched that just came out, a couple days ago, he's like, yeah, I'm happy with execution. I think we're playing better, yada, yada. And it's like, so I'd be curious to see, like, what changed, like, so recently these past, like, couple weeks. That's like, okay, no, we got to make a decision now. Because even for me, this came way sooner than I expected. Like, it's for me. And I'm kind of with you. I would have thought there would have been like either a trade or a roster move like before a move like this would have been made. I'm not complaining about it, but it is, even for me, a little faster than I expected, and I'm happy with the decision.
It's just the timing of it, I think, is just strange. Like, was it like, did Brad Marchand really cook us? Like, did Brad Marchand make us fire our coach? Like, was it the too many men in the last couple minutes of the game?
That was pretty bad.
Was it your live stream?
Was it my live stream? Was it me talking shit about Brad Marchand and hitting a geek bar all night that like Kyle Davidson was like, all right, enough's enough? Like, we're talking about just a couple weeks ago, Jim Montgomery was available. You also had a couple weeks ago, also, you had guys on the team like Taylor Hall saying he doesn't know why he's being cut, and that didn't make any sense. And you had guys like Tara Vinen saying that he doesn't have much confidence, and you had Connor Bedard saying that he didn't have much confidence. Like, you had all these guys in the locker room just a couple of weeks ago, you know, being really, really down, saying not good things that sheds a very bad light on your head coach. Why didn't you do it then? When he didn't do it then, that made me think that we were in it for the long haul with Luke Richardson. That's why I was just telling a coworker today that I think Richardson's going to be the guy regardless of how I feel about it. So yeah, I'm stunned still to stay.
And that is the thing. The timing of this kind of made it where they forced their hand. Where it's like they had to go the interim route, right? That's what happened with Colleton in 2021. They had to make Derek King, who was the then White Sox coach, the interim coach until they found Richardson in the offseason. But it's like, yeah, if they had done this earlier, they could have found like a more established coach in the market. I know there's Quinville, but obviously the Hawks aren't gonna they're not gonna hire Quinville after the PR stuff. But yeah, Montgomery was picked up. It's like other than that, there's like not really much available right now. So it's like they had to go the interim route. And that begs the question though, is Sorensen is he gonna solve some of these issues we've been seeing? Like, is he the answer? He's gonna have a chance here, but it's like, is he gonna be the coach for the long haul, or is this just a stopgap coach like Derek King was, who is, to be fair, still the assistant coach of the Blackhawks to this day? So I'll be curious to see, I guess, how he takes to this role. Yeah.
Tassos, could you give us a little background on Sorensen? Do you have?
Yeah. Do we want to hear the statement too from Kyle? It's not but I'll read it. I'll read it out loud. So pretend I'm Kyle Davidson. Today I made the difficult decision to move on from Luke as our head coach. We thank him for his efforts and contributions to the organization and our community. As we have begun to take steps forward in our rebuilding process, we felt that the results did not match our expectations for a higher level of execution this season, and ultimately came to the decision that a change was necessary. We wish Luke and his family all the best moving forward. So my only thing here that I want to bring up to you guys right now, maybe this should have been a little bit more expected from us, and we should have been talking about this more as a possibility. They've lost 8 of 10. And, we're talking, the Philip Kurashev plus minus is a funny number we've been poking at recently. Luke Richardson's record as Chicago Blackhawks head coach.
Oh boy.
57, 118, and 15.
Oh,
what is that? Like 330 win percentage or something? That is brutal. That's like half of Montgomery's win percentage of the Bruins was, and that caused him to be fired. But wow, that is something, eh? But
that's like a 1 in 3 pace for.
I think maybe another thing that caused this to happen so suddenly is like we had such a positive game last week, right, against the Stars, right? It looked like we were coming out of something there. I feel like there's been a few times this season where it's like every time it looks like we found something, it just falls flat, and we've lost 4 straight games since then. We did talk about that in the post game show where it's like we just never been able to carry over momentum at all this season. That's been an issue. And pretty much all the free agent additions that KD's brought in, they're not really producing the way to expect. It's like, yeah, you could put some of that in KD, but it's like when all of them aren't producing, when almost every single player in this team isn't playing probably the way they should be, it's like, well, I think you can kind of put that down, at least in part, to coaching. Do I think the problems we've had are entirely due to Richardson? No, but I think you're foolish to suggest doesn't play a big part of that, for sure.
You have to think, though, now that Kyle Davidson's seat's a little hotter than we thought, too. Because if he's going to go ahead and fire the coach and say, yeah, these acquisitions that he made, they're underperforming and that's because of coaching. But it's like, is it? Or did Kyle Davidson give him bad hand? Did he give him a pretty garbage team to work with? And I think Tassos is going to have something to say about that.
No, not really.
Really? Like, who do you think this is? Do you think Richardson's more to blame than Kyle Davidson is?
I do. I mean, in terms of, I don't think this team is that bad though. I don't think it's amazing. I don't think he gave him a ton to work with, but I don't think there's no reason this team shouldn't be performing better than last year's team. No, none at all. I'm sorry.
But you don't think, like, going into the season, this wasn't really the main topic of discussion. Was Luke Richardson maybe being changed before the halfway mark? Was it?
I mean, I was kind of bringing it up. I was talking about
I
it.
think we talked about it a little bit, where it's
Okay,
like,
all
you know,
right.
like, I mean, it's like we had the bare minimum expectations. It's not like we were expecting this team to be, you know, that good. It's like we're literally our only mindset is like, let's just get a little better. Let's see a little progression. And it's like we haven't seen that, like flat out. We just haven't. And I think when your star player, when your generational, you know, players is even regressing, that shows you how bad this team has been this season. Where it's like we talked about in the postgame show yesterday. It's like something's got to give here. I don't think doing nothing is the answer. So it's not like we didn't completely see this coming. I mean, we did. I think we just maybe I didn't have quite the balls to say it, but I think we could kind of feel something brewing a little bit. Where it's like you have to make a change. You can't do nothing, right?
Yeah. And so I want to point out, we've got 32 viewers right now, which is pretty sick. If any of you are new, we have been talking about this kind of stuff on the show. And like, I've been critical of Richardson pretty much all season, not necessarily saying that he should be fired, but the team was supposed to be better than last year, and it hasn't been. But with that being said, there several of these acquisitions we made in the offseason, like the TJ Brody, like the Alec Martinez, you know, like the so they've been head scratchers. And so now it's like, now that Richardson's out, the only person left is Kyle Davidson. And so it's like, now his seat is hot, because if he does
There's
not,
going to be more blame on him moving forward.
yes, if he does not come up big in the draft this year and in free agency, he's going to be gone next year, I think.
Yeah, well, I think what Katie would help some is the fact that Bedard is the only draft pick he's made that's on this team right now. But hopefully that's going to change soon here. Hopefully we'll get at least one or two of them up on the team soon. So I still think Katie's safe, but I don't think he's, to answer your question, like, yes, I do think this puts a little more pressure on him for sure, because he did kind of go back on some of his words not too recently, right? So, yeah.
Somebody in chat said, "Gentlemen, how good is our interim head coach?"
So do you guys want a little background on Anders Sorensen?
Yeah, because I don't really know a ton about him.
Please,
Okay,
Tassos.
so Anders Sorensen is 49 years old. He's from Södertälje, Sweden. He played in their system growing up, recorded here on Elite Prospects from 92, 93 up through 96, 97, or 95, 96. He was in their system. Then he went to France for a season. He went to Norway for a season. Then he came here, played out the rest of his career in like the lower minor leagues, the CHL, the WPHL, which sounds like a tough league, and also the Coast in his last season, 99-2000, which he split between the Mobile Mystics and the Baton Rouge Kingfish. Then he transitioned into coaching and working for the team, being a head coach on and off in youth hockey, also in Sweden for 3 seasons, 11-12 to 13-14. But he is local here. Like he was coach of the Chicago Chill U18 AAA hockey team in the 05-06 season. That was his first coaching, dipping his toe into the water. He was the head coach there. Then he was the Chicago Mission head coach 5 years later in the 2010-11 season. Returned back after coaching in the Allsvenskan in Sweden, was a youth coach again for the Chicago Mission U16. He worked with the U14 team on and off again, all the way up until 16-17, which was kind of surprising. Also working as a development coach with the Blackhawks during that time too. Then the Ice Hogs similarly, like when you're a development coach for one team, you're generally a development coach for both. It's the same organization. And then he transitioned into an assistant coaching role at the end of the 18-19 season, which he held until the 21-22 season when he was the associate head coach, and he was the interim head coach from November 7th onward that year, and then has been head coach of the Ice Hogs ever since, until right now, when he's been named the head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks. So
obviously player development is kind of his thing, but like, can you imagine, like, I don't know, you're like youth hockey coach from just a few years ago, you're on your phone and then all of a sudden he just got named to be the head coach of the Blackhawks.
Yeah, that's quite a rise, man, in a short period of time.
He was coaching 16-year-olds like 5 years ago. Like that's pretty crazy. But hopefully now it's going to make the transition for some of these guys that he's been coaching in Rockford to come play on the team. And hopefully, like, people are going to say that, like, the coaching change isn't going to, like, affect the same. And I think that's total bullshit, because firing Luke Richardson is a massive statement. It's saying that what we've been doing to start this season is not working, and we're not going to continue to do that. So hopefully we see Frank Nazar up very soon.
I think he should be. Absolutely. The way he's been playing down there's no reason he shouldn't be. But yeah, I mean, it's also like there tends to be an initial bump that doesn't always last. But it's like when a coach is fired, it's like that sends a message to the room, right? I mean, it's a different team, but look at the Bruins, right? When Montgomery's fired, that they've hardly lost since. So we'll see if that, continues. Probably not. But and then Montgomery with the Blues as well. So it's like you would expect there to be a response from the room, right? Just in response to this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Oh, I just got the AHL app notification that Anders Sorensen has been named the head coach of the Chicago Blackhawks.
So what's the deal with the Ice Hogs? Is like I think they saw Mark Eaton's now their interim head coach or something. Yep. I think he's like developmental guy at the Hawks GM, assistant GM or something like that.
The GM
so yeah,
development.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I do think that's a good point you brought up, Lee. It's like, because the Hawks will be bringing up a lot of these young guns throughout the season, right? So it's like, I think that'll make the transition to NHL a lot easier for them, because like they're used to playing under him. I think Reichel, he's played a lot under Sorensen too in the Ice Hogs. So hopefully he moves him up, right? He's not no more 4 flying minutes stunning his development, right? Get him up there in that top 6. And I think he'll thrive as well. A lot of these younger guys in the Blackhawks too. So yeah, I think that's another positive.
Yeah, I think that if what comes from this is that we spend the rest of this season focusing on developing young players and getting some of these guys into the lineup, and developing them in the NHL, I think it's a win. Do I think that this guy's going to be our head coach long term? Probably not.
Yeah, today probably not.
I don't know
if they find somebody better, but we'll see what he does. And again, I don't think record's gonna. I think it'll improve a little bit. But I'm not saying this move is gonna make us. I think we're still where we are, a bottom team, right? But if we're playing, if the games are more entertaining, which I do think the games are gonna be more entertaining, they're gonna be more fun to watch. And as long as our young guns, who are gonna be a part of the future of this team, are playing better and aren't regressing, then I'll be happy with the score, right? No more of these 2-1, 3-1 losses with the bottom 6 getting the only production, right? So more just free game, right? Just play hockey,
I think Sorensen's going to get a real kick at kicking the interim tag. I know I said kick twice there, but I think he's going to get a real shot at the head coaching job here fully, if he's able to take it by the reins and go for it. I don't know. Just seems like if you call up some players, he might be in a lot better of a position than Luke Richardson. If a trade is made and you call up some players, Anders Sorensen is going to be in a way better spot than Luke Richardson was at all this season, right? I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Like, what's the next move? I got a hard time thinking like this is the only thing, where it's like it feels like that something else will be brewing, whether it's a trade or a call up or something. Like, but maybe initially just give him the same roster, see what he could do with it. But I think you probably got to do something from that regards too. I don't think this coaching change is like it necessarily.
Maybe I'm wrong, and they hire somebody tomorrow.
Well, but Tassos, I agree with what you're saying, though, that I think he's going to be in a better spot than Luke Richardson, because now it's like, now we know what we're trying to do this season. Like, it's going to be all about development. You're not going to be so worried about the team playing good defensive hockey. It's going to be like, let's let these young guys, take some strides here.
Play like a rebuilding team, not a playoff team. This team is not a playoff team.
In firing Luke Richardson, we're committed to the rebuild still. We're not trying to win right now. So it's I think that's going to help as a head coach, because then it's like it's such a clear message, like what the objective is. And I think that was a big problem for Luke Richardson, is like you have this such a weird thrown together roster of like bottom 6 old guys and
without a clear goal,
talent, and it's like what are we supposed to be doing here? What's the objective? And so now I think the objective is clear. It's development. And if you finish last in the league, that's fine. Get the first overall pick.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Sounds like a plan. And then, KD, have himself an offseason 25. I think he has to. I mean, his job is definitely on the line now, so he's got to perform as well. Yeah.
According to chat, third ever European to be head coach and first ever Swede. So that's kind of awesome if that is true. Maybe we can get a
really only the third one.
I guess so.
Huh, that's kind of shocking.
Yeah.
Huh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Nice.
Somebody said, why not move Derek King up a spot? I think because you want to, if you're firing your head coach, you want to shake things up. You want to change what you're doing.
We've been there, done that with Derek King. He already was interim coach. You're not going to make him interim coach again. And why is he head coach right now?
Yeah.
Why didn't he keep that job? Right.
I think you wanted to see definitely a switch up, really shake the room a little bit, and inspire some better hockey. I think overall it's good. I think it's too early to start talking about, permanent coaches going forward. I don't want, even if this guy is able to turn it around a little bit this season, like if you have a Stanley Cup caliber coach available in the offseason,
like John Cooper,
do you not make a move for a guy like that?
if they're available, I think, yeah, why not, right?
Is
Like, why did they go after
actually
Montgomery?
available right now? Are there actually any head coaches available right now? Like, who are you going to call? Bruce Boudreau?
Yeah, it's like Bruce Boudreau and Joel Quenneville. I was like trying to figure out like really realistically like who's the best available right now. And
I would love to hire Q, but you just know like the logistics of that make no sense, and like there's no way they would do that. Yeah, so that's a pipe dream.
I think Sorensen's going to get a kick at it.
We'll see. I don't know.
Or maybe he gets a Drew Bannister treatment.
Yeah, like the second they find somebody, he's out of there, right? But
I think I'm sorry. This is a business. This is the success of the team. I don't like if you have a legit coach available, you have to go for that. You can't just be like, you can't waste like the talent that we have, especially in like the farm system in the minors. You can't waste this on just a random, youth coach from Sweden. Like, you got to go for the best available.
How about let's get Jonathan Toews off his little healing journey. Jonathan Toews, next head coach of the Blackhawks. I'm just kidding.
And his assistants, Marian Hossa and Duncan Keith.
There we go. That's we solved the problem right there.
Yep. That'll do it. All right. What else, guys? Anything?
I don't know. I mean,
the poll, Raven put a poll in chat. Are we headed for better days with Richardson gone? 90% yes, 9% no.
I mean, I think it's theoretically it's only up from here, right? I mean, it's hard to get worse than where we are right now, but I suppose never say never. But I think just my main takeaway is I'm excited. Like this is kind of a breath of fresh air, a much needed breath of fresh air in this hockey club right now. And just right away, it's going to take some time, right? Because he's just stepping into this role, but just to see right away just the differences in this team's game on Saturday against the Jets is going to be very telling. Like we're already learned a lot about Sorensen, from the get-go, but we'll see. I'm just excited to see how we look from here. Yeah.
I think that the start of the season has been so depressing because it was that like some desire to actually win that now that like, look, we've gotten this far. I'm okay with a tank at this point if it means that we're seeing some more of our young guys. And I know Tassos' skin is absolutely crawling, but the reality of the situation,
we're too far back for a playoff push. This team's not good enough.
We're too far back, and also we're the last in the league right now trying to win. So it doesn't get worse.
Yeah, I would agree.
Tassos,
man.
I don't know.
Maybe not necessarily tanking. Like you want to see better performances, right? More wins would be nice. That's probably why a big part why they're making this move.
When I'm saying tanking, I mean less allegiance to guys that play defensively responsible hockey, like Ilya Mikheyev and Joey Anderson.
Play the young guys more.
Yeah, like we're talking about like Slager and Nazar and maybe Korchinski coming back. Like that's what I want to see. Like I don't want to see TJ Brody in the lineup just because you think that he gives us a better chance of winning that night than a Kevin Korchinski does.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So when I say tanking, I'm not saying intentionally losing. I'm just saying not doing everything in your power to win a game 2-1 against the Columbus Blue Jackets,
You fellas about ready. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
Oh yeah, no, just play like a rebuilding team, right? Like look at the Sharks right now. It's like they're still down there in the standings, but it's like the young guns are performing. They're scoring goals. They're fun to watch. Like this team should be fun to watch. And I think
should be.
Yeah.
It should be. It should be. You're completely right. In San Jose's doing it. In Anaheim's doing it. Like a lot of these other teams that are in similar spots to us are playing their young talent. and it's so much more fun to watch than what we've been dealing with. So hopefully a new coach means we're ushering in some of the young troops, and the show I think is going to be a lot more fun.
Yeah, no more breaking down these boring Richardson games. Yeah, I think it'll be better for us.
Tassos is going to miss dump and chase hockey. I see it all over his face.
Yeah, I'm just like reading through the chat here a little bit. If nothing else, Katie needs to make these games more interesting to drive more ticket sales, attendance being down.
That's because of CHSN just as much, if not more, than the level of talent on this team, by the way.
There is some Q is not the guy. This one says bring back Joel Quenneville, but I'm a no on the I'm a no on the Q thing.
Q's not
Jay Woodcroft is a good name if you're really looking for somebody fresh out there that was good with an Oilers team that, you know, is maybe not the guy, but maybe is the guy before the guy. I think Jay could be a good look there.
I would say don't even bother until you're bringing in the guy. Why add, extra? Why bring a guy in to try to like implement a system if you're not going to plan on him being the guy long term? If you're not going to commit to him, what's the point of bringing someone else in?
2 coaches fired in a week too for the city.
Yeah, that is true, right? Eberflus following in that footsteps there. So, yeah, I mean, it's. I think your leash is shorter than NHL now, right? Coaches just don't have the same leeway they had before. It's. I mean, Richardson, he had 2 full years plus, the first quarter of this season. That's it, right? I mean, just expectations are different now. Patience is wearing thin,
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, guys?
I'm sure I'm going to think of 3 more things to say right after we get off. But thankfully, we are doing the episode tomorrow morning.
That's right. Yeah, we'll have plenty more to say once we've had time to digest this news, which I still haven't digested. I'm still eating it right now, so we'll see. Hopefully, it'll be digested by tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully everything's good with Justin's digestion tomorrow. Everyone, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the post notification. Are we going to do tomorrow's episode live?
Yep.
Okay, so we'll be live tomorrow morning. A little bit before around 11 a.m. Central Time, give or take a few minutes. So please tune back in for that. Hopefully we have a few more, moments to think about this, and I'm sure we will have plenty to say tomorrow.
Follow us on Instagram too, at Chicago Hockey Radio.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Right on.
All right, that's it. Richardson's out.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye. On to the next. KD's seat, maybe a little hotter. Let's see some young talent.
Oh,
come on.
The tank.
Hey, turn that frown upside down, Tassos. This is good.
I think
everyone up.
I think you've been out for a few minutes. Did we end the pod? Oh, Raven didn't know because Raven didn't know what to do because he kept fucking talking. All right.
We're out, Raven. We're good.